vampires, zombies, and more. They're not quite dead. Undead? Deadish? That's it. Get your horror fix with ghoulish gear from creepy pop culture favorites. This month is Deadish. Happy Fandom Friday. So again, the 20th has come and gone and they've released yet another theme. They have been sending stuff out, so I'm still hopeful. I haven't gotten tracking information for September and July, I think is the ones we're supposed to be getting soon. So crossing my fingers and hoping they come because they are sending stuff, so I'm trying not to turn into a dark Hufflepuff again, as you guys can see. I went for candy for Halloween. Now, as y'all probably know while watching this channel, I am a happy, colorful Hufflepuff, and I don't really do horror. Which, traditionally, Halloween comes with what it is. There are vampires, there are zombies, there are horror movies, everyone's going to die, and then we get candy. Which is why I'm excited. I like the dressing up and the candy. I'm not real excited about having the pants scared off with me. Or the pants scared off of me. So, and when October comes around, I'm always a little worried that I'm not going to have any interest in this. And I am actually super excited because with this month of October, they're going for Deadish. And I'm like, okay, what horror movies am I going to have to pawn off on my friends again? And I'm actually blessedly surprised they picked 4 fandoms that I'm actually kind of intrigued by. And they're not like horror, they're more creepy, silly horror, which is something I can do. So the ones they've picked for this month are Deadpool, Dracula, The Lost Boys, and Night of the Living Dead. And so a few of these I haven't seen, but I have done some research for y'all. So if you're like me, have went, I kind of know what those are, but don't. Here's what they are. Now, first one's Deadpool, and this is kind of an easy one. Deadpool is very easy for Halloween. He is weird. He is creepy. He's kind of difficult, but it is fun. It is silly. It does have to do with costumes. And it just has that sort of farce Halloween vibe to it. So because of Club Merc, they have extra stuff possibly, or it's just Deadpool is really popular right now, what with Ryan Reynolds being the Deadpool. He's almost as Deadpool as RDJ is Iron Man, though we are all sad to see him go. So that one, not hard to combine at all. The next one is Dracula. And this one kind of threw me for a loop, because I'm like, are they going all the way back to like the 40s and 50s Dracula? Or are we going any Dracula in general? Because Dracula is one of those things where he's almost a part character in everything. He's become a staple in so many other movies. Spoof movies, he's in real movies. There's the Interview with the Vampire kind of version. Dracula's in everything. And one of the things, if y'all are interested in podcasts at all, go check out Myths and Legends. He actually went back to the original myth of Dracula, going all the way back, which was kind of fascinating because they had both the story of, Van Helsing hunting Dracula and all of that, but they also went all the way back to Vlad Dracul in Transylvania, the count that was so bloody he was said to have drank the blood of his enemies. So for y'all that don't know, there actually was a count in Transylvania whose name was Dracul, and he was a very bloodthirsty count that would kill anybody that fought him, and would basically kind of display body parts to prevent people from fighting him. So that's where the myth actually started. And it just kind of grew into this, pale people that suck blood of pretty women kind of thing. There are other myths that go with this, but he was one of the ones that stapled Dracula to Transylvania. So Dracula is also a very classic vampires, Halloween go together very easily too. So none of this is really that far. The next one is Night of the Living Dead, and I actually have heard of this but haven't seen it. So I did a little bit of research. Now the first thing I discovered is if you go on IMDb, there are actually 8 different Night of the Living Dead movies, starting in 1968 and going all the way up to present. And of course there are a whole bunch of spoofs on that too, where it's Night of the Living Deb and, you know, all the other ones. So this is another very classic horror movie. But as I was reading it, it's not a classic horror, everyone dies, everyone's bleeding. It's more of a suspense one than the ones you think of like The Ring and The Shining and those kind of things. So I guess The Shining is kind of suspense more than actual drama or terror. So I was intrigued to find out it's actually set here in Pennsylvania, which I thought was the funniest thing of all. If you're going to have a horror story, we're going to put it in Pennsylvania where nothing happens. It's almost as bad as Delaware in Wayne's World. But at the same time, I live not that far from Amityville, so I guess I should see it coming. There is a lot of stuff around here that is traditionally haunted. Not that I've been. Well, I drove through Amityville, but I haven't been because I don't want to. Whether it has or hasn't, I don't want to. So there is that. So it's set in Pennsylvania, and the original one came out in 1986, and it's a group of people that are sheltering in a house from these strange new creatures, and they don't know how to do it. It's actually the movie that started the whole zombie craze. This was the first time we had creatures that weren't quite alive, but weren't quite dead, and were feeding on people, and it was just a whole suspense thing of what are these things. So this was the very first time we saw zombies in something. And now, of course, the mythos has gotten so big. You have fast zombies, you have slow zombies. If you play like Left 4 Dead, there's a whole host of different kinds of zombies where you have witches and boomers and jockeys and hunters and all the different ones. So, and of course, each comes with its own power and its own abilities. And then, of course, there's all the different zombie movies and how zombies are created. Originally, it was started with you get bitten, you get turned. If you ever watched... what was that movie? The stupid Romeo and Juliet movie with zombies. It was really funny, by the way. It was just really, really cheesy. But in that one, it was a plague, of course. And a lot of them now are, you know, something goes wrong in science and it releases a pathogen and it turns people with a certain genome into a zombie. And then you can either change, in some of them you can change them back and in other ones you can't. So this is the very beginning. And I was actually kind of intrigued that I believe one of the Russo brothers was actually a scriptwriter in this movie, so it should be really good. It's probably something I need to see. So Night of the Living Dead is a classic, and of course one of the originals, and something I should probably add to my repertoire. My husband had said he heard of it and knew it, but I don't think he had seen it either. So it's one of those ones that we need to go find and watch at like 2 in the afternoon on a sunny day. Because that's the only way I watch horror, let's be honest. Alright, the last one was Lost Boys, and this one confused the crap out of me. I was like, what is this? Is this a new TV show that I need to keep track of again? Because I have too many on my list. I still haven't even seen Good Omens, and half of y'all are going to be mad at me for that. Trust me, I want to. We're just too many shows that I'm not allowed to watch without my husband. I may just have to cheat on him and watch that on Amazon Prime by myself. It is what it is, isn't it? So, The Lost Boys is actually a movie from the 80s and has Corey Haim and all the normal people you see in 80s movies. And it is actually about a divorcee and her 2 boys that moved to Santa Carla, California with their grandfather. And in the process, it's a very high murder rate kind of area, and they're really confused, but they have to go there because they have no other choice. And so they start hanging out. And one of the brothers starts liking this girl, who has a boyfriend, of course. And he kind of gets involved in this gang, and it's a little bit sketchy. And then he makes 2 friends at school who go, dude, there are vampires here. Yeah, you didn't see that one coming, did you? So it's a vampire movie in the 80s. Again, it doesn't seem like it's a horror movie. It sounds more like a cheesy 80s movie. So I'm not sure how much actual horror is involved. So basically, his girlfriend either is a vampire or is a part vampire and is dating a vampire. And by the way, spoilers if you haven't seen this movie and you don't want to, because I am going to kill the plot because I found it the funniest thing in the world. So the mother ends up start dating, and she dates this guy named Max. Well, here, by the end of the movie, you find out Max is actually the father vampire that has created all this gang of vampires that her son got involved in. And so I think they tried to kill one of the vampires at a certain point and managed to succeed in killing one vampire because his two buddies from school claimed to be vampire hunters, which, I mean, they're like in middle school or high school. They think themselves vampire hunters. They go after vampires. They manage to kill one and then have to flee into sunlight because they realize they woke the whole coven. Problems. So basically, it turns out that this guy the mother was dating is the head vampire, which I did mention. And he decides he wants to turn the sons, so to make her more enthusiastic about being turned herself, so she can be mother of all his little vampire boys. The Lost Boys. So there's the plot. Like I said, it sounds more silly than scary. So this might be something I need to see just because it sounds really bad. Alright, they didn't give us an and more because this is already kind of a lot of information. But what do you guys think could be added to this crate? What are some other fandoms that need to be added? I'll be honest, I don't watch a whole lot of horror, even silly horror, so Scooby-Doo is one that I guess could be added if we're going for monsters, vampires, and costumes. Those are the ones that I can think of. What else? I like Sweeney Todd, but I don't see that one coming up. I don't know about you guys. So let me guys know what you think. Add comments down below. What are some things that could be added to this crate? It's definitely going to be interesting to see it when it comes. If it comes, please let it come. So that is all I have for you this week. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when the next video comes up. I'm usually here about 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Fridays, and I will see you guys next Fandom Friday. Bye!